Today we're playing arguably the best stock-up deck in Legacy, Omni-Tell, Show and Tell Omniscience, Emrakul the Aeons Torn. Let's go check it out. This video is proudly sponsored by Card Market. This is Legacy Omni-Tell, and I'm thrilled to be playing it for you today. I've been waiting to get through the queue of donation decks, and while I do appreciate the support, sometimes I just want to play a deck that I think is really good in the metagame, and today that deck is Omni-Tell. So the idea here is that you're a show and tell based strategy that wants to put Omniscience onto the battlefield. From there, you have things like Stock Up, this new and exciting card that digs 5 cards deep for your payoff spells like Cunning Wish that can grab shared summons to grab both Atraxa and Emrakul the Aeons Torn in order to win the game. Well, that's pretty sweet. And then on top of that, you have tons of consistency in this deck with Brainstorm, Ponder, and then obviously Stock Up. It's both a payoff and a consistency card. It's basically mini Dig Through Time. The last time that this deck was truly good was when Dig Through Time was legal. And now we have a card that's at least in par with Dig Through Time. And I think that's really exciting. So we've received some other upgrades since that time period, like Sink in a Stupor over lands as a free spell that you can play off of the Omniscience to answer a problematic permanence that's built into your mana base. We also have Lórien Revealed, which searches out the Hedge Maze or Tropical Island. We like that. Or just being a draw 3 for your Omniscience. Those small upgrades have meant a lot over time. And that's part of why I think that this deck is so good. And I would like to say this is my own deck list. This is not one that I just copy pasted off of Goldfish. I did look at some other deck lists for inspiration, but I've made my own adjustments. And one of those adjustments was in the sideboard with 4 copies of Leyline of the Void. A lot of people are trying to get away with like 1 or 2 copies of Grafdigger's Cage and then like 1 Surgical Extraction for your Cunning Wish. I don't believe that's actually good enough to beat decks like Oops All Spells, so I am really just playing the card that beats them, which is Leyline of the Void. On top of that, I am playing 2 copies of Carpet of Flowers in the sideboard and 2 Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath. One of the few bad matchups for this deck are the tempo-based strategies, so why not just fix them? That is what I'm looking to do today. And if you like this deck list, I really appreciate it if you could like, comment, and subscribe. Support the channel. It would mean a lot to me. And that's all I've got for today, so I will see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We are on the draw. I have opened up a hand where I think it's fine. We don't have Force of Will, which I don't love, but we do have cantrips to help dig for Show and Tell or Force of Will itself. Basically, I'm just looking to survive here because I think if I can just live a turn or two, this hand ends up becoming very good. And we see Island Ponder, and I love that because that means that I'm likely going to have time to use my cantrips to sculpt into something that does something meaningful rather than just losing the game. And there's the Force of Will I wanted. Let's play Ponder, digging for Show and Tell. Ding, ding, ding. This is turn 2 Show and Tell with Force of Will backup, or I could wait a turn and have double Force of Will backup. Oh my. We'll put... Actually, can I undo that? No, I can't. Okay, we'll draw the Ancient Tomb. I think maybe I was supposed to draw the Force of Will there, because I don't know if I'm actually going to jam on turn 2, so maybe I should have just taken the Force of Will and had double protection. Cameo Inquisitive Student, that's fine. Let's play Brainstorm. Another Show and Tell, that's not bad. We'll put back 1 Brainstorm and then Ancient Tomb on top, play out the Misty Rainforest and pass. Wasteland. They attack with the Tamiyo, sure thing. And now I will draw the Ancient Tomb. We'll play it. And let's try to resolve Show and Tell. They crack a clue in response. They Force of Will, exiling Force of Will. I will Force of Will back, exiling Ponder. Show and Tell. I will put an Emrakul the Aeons Torn. Uldra complete. Okay. So this means that our opponent is playing Stoneblade. A lot of Stoneblade decks actually play a single copy of Karakas, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. That is not a Karakas. They fetch with Polluted Delta, Grey Tundra, and now they're fetching with Prismatic Vista. They play Ponder, and our opponent concedes. Nice. Easy does it. Okay, so in these matchups, I do think we want the Carpet of Flowers, but we also want our Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath. So I will bring in those cards, and I think it's pretty easy to just sideboard out Lotus Petal here. Let's submit. So one thing that I did, I mentioned how I'm not playing a stock deck list. So when I was looking at MTG Goldfish earlier today, I saw a scattering of different numbers of Lotus Petal. Some deck lists played 2, some had 3, only a couple had 4. I'm a combo player at heart, so I love the ability to go turn 1 show and tell, do my thing. So I decided to play 4 today, but it is not a requirement, and it's a personal choice. I don't want to pretend that it's necessarily the right thing to do, because it might not be, but I'm choosing to play 4 because it's what I enjoy. I want to do fast broken things. All right, well, Show and Tell is a great draw. We're going to lead off on Ponder here. Grab my basic. We'll play the Ponder. I think I like all of this. Okay, I will keep the Carpet of Flowers. Pass the turn. Polluted Delta. And a Ponder from the opponent. I actually want both of the top cards, so I am not going to fetch for the basic forest and then play out Carpet of Flowers. I'm going to just draw through, try to be patient. And by being patient here, there's a chance that the opponent fetches for another island. They didn't, but there was the opportunity where it could have happened. I am now going to search out the basic forest, play the Carpet of Flowers, and it resolved. Nice. In the second main phase, we can make mana. I'm not going to, because I'm not going to cast any spells. Pass the turn. The opponent drew their 3rd land. They missed it last turn. They have 7 in hand. This looks like it could be a Teferi Time Raveler. Surprise, surprise, I will play Spell Pierce. They Force of Will, exiling Teferi Time Raveler. I will Force of Will back, exiling the Cunning Wish. I want to hardcast Lórien Revealed, so I don't want to exile that. Ooh, they had double Force of Will, exiling Daze. Okay, sure. So, they're going to be able to bounce my Carpet of Flowers, but I could just replay it. Yep. They have 3 cards in hand. They've used 2 Force of Wills and a Daze. I will select my Hedge Maze with the Scalding Tarn. Another change that I made, by the way. Most lists are running Prismatic Vista. I am not. I wanted the ability to search out Hedge Maze more often. So, ooh, wow. I will keep the Emrakul. Maybe we're going to jam Show and Tell instead. Let's play Carpet of Flowers. Play Ancient Tomb. And now we'll switch phases. Yes, I'll make 3 blue. Let's try Show and Tell. They've already exiled another copy of Teferi Time Raveler too. It turns out that they had another Force of Negation. Alright, so that didn't work. We'll pass. I have 5 mana in play. Our opponent has 3 islands, so that's 8 mana total. I'm actually not terribly far off from hardcasting an Omniscience. Murktide Regent. So their draw this game has been pretty good, but we are still very much in this. Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath. Speaking of being in this, I would like to make 3 blue. We'll tap the we'll tap the Ancient Tomb. We'll play Lórien Revealed. There's Omniscience. Okay. So I'm 1 mana short of hardcasting the Omniscience. Play Tropical Island. I suppose I'll just play Stock Up here. And it resolves. I'll grab Carpet of Flowers, so that guarantees my ability next turn to play Omniscience. So we'll take the Ponder. I don't really need another Lórien Revealed. And now, whoops, can't cast Carpet of Flowers that way. So now I will play Carpet of Flowers. We'll switch phases. The new Carpet will make 3 blue mana. I can't make mana to cast Uro. It's pick 1 color, so you don't get to split it. And I guess I'll take Show and Tell and Brainstorm. Pass the turn. So now they'll attack for 7. I go to 7. They have 2 cards. They uptick the Teferi Time Raveler. So even if I had a Force of Will here, it would not help because of the Teferi Time Raveler in play. So I will add 3 blue and 3 green. So I could just hardcast the Omniscience. My fear with this, actually what I could do, hold on. I can Show and Tell first, and then if that gets countered, I can hardcast the Omniscience, which I think is just better. We'll play Show and Tell. Wait, no, that leaves me 1 mana short. Well, it turns out their last 2 cards were Force Will blue card, but that's okay. That is actually just fine. So now I will play my Uro, and I know that there's a land on top, so I will draw 3, play the land, and now Uro will sacrifice, and I will escape the Uro, exile some lands, ponder, Lórien Revealed. Oh, I don't even need to exile that many. So now Uro is back. I'll go up to 13. We drew Sink into Stupor. That's not bad. And I'll just try again next turn. And they conceded the match. Okay. They could have gone minus on the Teferi Time Raveler to bounce the Uro to buy time, but they just decided it wasn't worth their efforts. So I'll take it. Love that for us. We are now 1-0 in this Legacy League. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2 on the draw, we will keep. I like having that Force of Will card, and then on top of that we have Spell Pierce to help battle. Our opponent plays a Scalding Tarn, sure thing. Sink into Stupor is the draw. They search out Undercity Sewers, and they keep that card on top. They play Underground Sea and a Ponder. Nile Spellbomb, I do not care. We draw another Ancient Tomb. I don't know if I love that, but I'll play 1 out, because I'd rather the Ancient Tomb be destroyed by a Wasteland than my Tropical Island. They use the Nile Spellbomb immediately. Oh no, they're going to exile my graveyard? Shame. Blue to Delta and a Ponder. So you might be saying, why am I not casting my Brainstorm? I don't have a fetch land right now. I do have a Lórien Revealed, but I also don't know if I feel the need or urgency to take action. Cameo Inquisitive Student. Sure, you can have that. They just gave me a good window by tapping out. Alright, I'll try for the Brainstorm. So now we just need a Show and Tell. I don't think we need the Ancient Tomb. And I'll get rid of the Tropical Island, and then we'll cycle Lórien Revealed. I'll grab Tropical Island. Alright, we'd like to find Show and Tell here. The Ancient Tomb is back. I just put the Tropical Island and Ancient Tomb on top, and well, I searched one out and then redrew the other. Are we convinced that we shuffled? I'm not. Let's play Ponder. I think we keep these. Play the Tropical Island. Pass the turn. Maybe I'll just hardcast Omniscience, right? Right? They attack. And they have a Kaito. I'm at 15. So the Kaito means we probably would like to get moving a little bit more quickly, just because the card advantage that it provides will snowball. I'm not really worried about it killing me as much as I am them just drawing 2 cards a turn. Also, sculpted cards per turn. I'll play another Brainstorm. We know our top card is a Scalding Tarn to fetch, and I find the Show and Tell. Beautiful. So we'll put back the Ancient Tomb and Sink into Stupor. Play the Scalding Tarn. I'll fetch. Grab Basic Island. Show and Tell. Play Force of Will. I will Force of Will back, exiling Ponder. Show and Tell. Omniscience. We will play Cunning Wish for free. And our opponent concedes. Too easy. Can they try to make this a little more difficult? Come on. We'll bring in the same package that we did in match number 1. Hit submit. Playing this deck, it feels extremely powerful. I know that I'm doing some light trash talking, saying too easy and all that stuff, but like the deck feels very good. Like you're just doing an extremely powerful thing very consistently, and you have interaction for the metagame. Like having Force of Will and Spell Pierce and Leyline of the Void, like this deck is a very good deck in the current metagame. Will it be after March 31st? I don't know. It's tough to say what that future holds. But right now, I think if I were going to a large Legacy event, I would consider playing this deck. Our opponent has kept 7, so will we. We have the Show and Tell, I just need to find Omniscience. They lead off with an Undercity Sewers, and they kept their top card. We'll play Basic Island, pass the turn. Bloodstained Mire into Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. I'm not going to Brainstorm. I would like that perfect Brainstorm with the fetch land. I'll Brainstorm now, because I can't get hit by an Orcish Bowmasters. 2 more copies of Show and Tell. I'll put those on top. We don't need that many. And I'm going to wait on the Carpet of Flowers. I don't want my opponent to search out Basic Swamp with their Bloodstained Mire. And I don't want to play into Daze. So there's 2 reasons here to wait. They attack with the Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. And now they have a clue. Brainstorm. I'm going to allow that to resolve. So I could play a Spell Pierce here. I think sometimes people playing combo decks don't have the right mindset. And I'm not trying to make fun of anyone here. But when you're playing a combo deck, there are certain things that matter and certain things that don't. Could I possibly lose this game to Tamiyo Ultimate? Yes, that is within the realm of possibility. That said, am I likely to lose this game to Tamiyo Ultimate? Probably not. So instead of putting myself in a situation where I can't protect my Show and Tell, I'm going to just try to make sure that I'm fighting over the right thing. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. I'll play Scalding Tarn. Let's play Carpet of Flowers. They Force of Will exiling Brazen Borrower. I would like my Carpet of Flowers, so I will fight here. They're going to double Force of Will a Carpet of Flowers. Alright, I don't want it that badly. Sure. You can have it. Pass the turn. Now they search out Underground Sea. So with the Tamiyo here, I would not be surprised if they went ticked down and then got back a Force of Will. No, they're going to plus. The confidence here. Wow. Alright, they have 2 cards in their hand. They draw a card with the clue, up to 3 cards. Ponder. I would like to play Stock Up, because if I find Omniscience, I can try to win next turn. Force of Will. I'd also take an Atraxa. Thank you. Okay, so we can have a double protected Show and Tell next turn. I'm into that. So I guess double protected Show and Tell next turn, they would still get an Ultimate Tamiyo. You know what? I'm going to Ponder. Maybe I should just be digging for the Omniscience. We'll play Ponder. Shuffle that. Ancient Tomb was not a great draw. They plus the Tamiyo again. Okay. So, will I lose this game to Tamiyo? I think I'd like to start with a Brainstorm before I make any decisions. Another Carpet of Flowers. Cunning Wish. Put the Misty on top. And Cunning Wish. Play Ancient Tomb. Play the Carpet of Flowers. They're going to fetch in response. A little surprised by this. A Hardcast Force of Negation. I was only playing the Carpet to make sure that my Show and Tell resolved off the Veil of Summer. So I think we just let that go. And now I'll play Show and Tell. I had another Force of Will. I will Force of Will back. So the issue is that our opponent still gets the Ultimate at Tamiyo. So maybe I could have fought over the Tamiyo earlier. I don't think it was correct to, because I just never found what I needed. So I have a Sink into Stupor. The problem with taking Sink into Stupor here is that I can't bounce the Tamiyo in time. So I'm free to take the Omniscience, Uro, Show and Tell, and then we still get land and instant. We'll take Misty Rainforest and Cunning Wish. Okay. I know that it seems like we've already lost. I'm not convinced that we have yet. Our opponents used 3 Force of Wills and a Force of Negation, so even if they draw half their library here, there's still a chance that my Show and Tell could resolve when backed by Veil of Summer. Alright, they're going to minus the Tamiyo. So they've drawn 22 cards, and they hardcast a Kaito. Sure. They're going to stun my Atraxa, that is fine. Can we beat a draw 22? Honestly, I think we can. So I'll take 2 off Ancient Tomb. Let's play Show and Tell. The Force of Negation, I will fetch in response. We'll grab Tropical Island. Let's Veil of Summer. Okay, so they drew the 4th Force of Will and another Force of Negation in that 22. Pretty good for them, but we're still in this in my opinion. And I will now play Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. They daze the Uro, I think that's fine. Pass the turn. They plus the Tamiyo. They activate the Kaito. Wasteland. So the Wasteland hurts here because it's going to destroy the Oh, they didn't destroy Tropical Island. What? Now I can bring back the Uro. I don't know if they thought that through. Murktide Regent. That's pretty big. Alright, well, it turns out that the 22 cards did get me this game. Or at least I imagine it did. But I honestly don't think it was right to go after the Tamiyo there. I think that would have been a losing strategy. Did we lose the game? Absolutely, but it's because I couldn't find Omniscience in time. And they're going to consign to memory here. Sure. Alright, so we're dead. We can go to game 3. I have no regrets about how I played that. Resubmit. On the play for game 3, we have a Show and Tell. My concern here is I'm a little light on mana, but I'm going to keep it. We'll play Island and Ponder. Keep these. Pass the turn. Polluted Delta for an Underground Sea and their own Ponder. They shuffle. Play the Scalding Tarn. I would like to Ponder again. I'm interested in the Veil of Summer on top. Ooh, Carpet of Flowers. Yeah, we'll keep. So my opponent showed me that they're willing to Force of Will a Carpet of Flowers, so I don't know if I'm supposed to keep the Veil of Summer on top, or if I'm supposed to just search out my Hedge Maze here, and then potentially try to brainstorm into a fetch land for the Tropical Island. They play and activate Polluted Delta, okay, for a basic swamp. Thoughtseize. I guess I'll try to Veil of Summer. Do you have the days? No days. Sweet. Alright, so now I will play Carpet of Flowers, and we actually drew the Spell Pierce as backup, which is just wonderful. They Force of Negation, I will Spell Pierce. They have 3 cards left in their hand. Carpet of Flowers, and it resolves. Nice. I would like to activate, yes. Let's play Brainstorm. Wow, that was quite good. I'm going to hide Stock Up and the Show and Tell on top, just in case there's another Thoughtseize. They Ponder. They paused for a bit on the Carpet of Flowers, so I can't help but wonder if they have another Force of Will. When we look at our sideboard, there is no counter spell in the sideboard to fight for your Cunning Wish. That is not a common thing that exists. So I'm not sure if that's something we really want to be doing here. And with them destroying the Ancient Tomb, I don't want to play Show and Tell in a daze. That just doesn't feel good to me. So I think we're going to just do something else this turn. I will Brainstorm. We're going to redraw the Stock Up, and I drew another Ancient Tomb. We'll put the double Cunning Wish on top, and then I'll play the Stock Up. I'd like to dig for protection for the Show and Tell before I jam. We find Force of Will, and I'll take another Cunning Wish. Pass the turn. They play Scalding Tarn, sure. Basic Island. That's a big old dragon. And they only have 2 cards in hand, so I believe we've won. Another Show and Tell. We'll add 3 blue. Let's play Show and Tell. Put in Omniscience. We will cast Cunning Wish. And we've got another match. We are now 2-0 in this Legacy League. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, we're on the draw again. I would like to win a die roll at some point, and we're facing Sylvia Wataro, the Delver expert, who I believe has been dabbling with some Reanimator, but Mishra's Bauble is not a Reanimator card, so I don't believe they're playing that today. Having the Tropical Island in my hand is a little bit weird, because if I would like to protect myself with Veil of Summer, I can't, I have to expose the Wasteland, or I have to expose Tropical Island to Wasteland, and that's just risky. So here our opponent leads off with the Delver Secrets, classic opener. Now they'll draw off the Bauble. We draw a Spell Pierce. I'm going to just play Sink into Stupor as a tap land and pass. I could Lightning Bolt myself, but is a just turn 1 Brainstorm even worth it? I think I'd rather just wait a turn. They flip the Delver of Secrets to Ponder, and now they play the Ponder. They did not shuffle. They have Wasteland. Unfortunate. And now I'll take the 3. So I will go to 17. I think this game would have been pretty different if I was on the play because they don't get this insane start without me casting a cantrip first. But, you know, you can't always win the die roll. And there's still 2 post-board games where we gain Carpet of Flowers in a row. The second Wasteland here is pretty devastating. Let's play Brainstorm. Ay. Do I even want to try to fight through this? I guess. I don't know. So I'd have to draw running mana. We might have to consider just like cycling Veil of Summer and praying for the best. They shuffled on the Ponder. We'll play the basic forest. So I think I just have to cycle the Veil of Summer if they play a blue spell, because that will clear the next card off of the Brainstorm, and then hopefully I would draw like a fetch land or a basic island. They play Tropical Island, okay. Murktide Regent. I would like to play Veil of Summer. And I think now we are going to force of will the Murktide Regent, because I can't let that resolve or else I lose. So that's my thought process here. And now I'd like to draw land. That's sort of like a basic island. We'll cycle. Play the island. Attempt to Brainstorm. And we're locked again. Okay, I'm at 10. Even if I cycle Veil of Summer again. Alright, we'll go to game 2. No wasting time. Sometimes it just doesn't work out your way. We'll bring in Carpet of Flowers, bring in the 2 copies of Uro, and I think we do the same plan with the no Lotus Petals. Alternatively, if you would like to be slightly less clunky, you could leave in 2 Lotus Petal and then cut like 2 stock up against like the dedicated tempo deck. I don't hate it. Let's try this. That way I have a little bit more green mana in the deck for Carpet of Flowers, Veil of Summer, that sort of thing. The Dimir deck that we faced in the previous round, I think, yeah, it's a tempo deck, but it's not quite as aggressive as a true Delver of Secrets like Temur tempo strategy. What's funny is when I was working on the list earlier, I tried to jam in a 3rd copy of Carpet of Flowers, and then I thought to myself, like, tempo decks aren't even that popular. And then so far this league, Carpet of Flowers has come in every matchup, and I would have played all 3 if I could. The part of the downside of that, though, is that what do you board out? Like, -4 Lotus Petal is so clean. If you wanted to bring in 3 copies of Carpet, plus an Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath, what are you bringing out that isn't Lotus Petal? So I'm not sure if you actually want or need 3, but it's an option to have. Here we have everything other than Show and Tell and Protection. I think I'm going to keep this. I do think in hindsight, one thing that I could consider, and I'm not sure if it's even good, because we haven't faced the matchups where I would want Consign to Memory yet, but you could consider like a Pact of Negation over Consign to Memory, or some other counter spell that you might want to play. Maybe Pact of Negation isn't great because you do have to pass the turn to win with this deck using Emrakul, so maybe you want something else, but just something that you can use proactively. And there's the Show and Tell. Oh boy. Alright, so we're looking for Force of Will, Veil of Summer, something along those lines at this point. They have Wasteland, sure. Goodbye to Hedge Maze. We'll play Basic Island, pass the turn. Volcanic Island. Dragon's Rage Channeler. The Mishra's Bauble. They kept a card on top. And now they're going to use the Mishra's Bauble. They know that we have a Show and Tell. I'll play Island, pass the turn. So if I were to draw like a Lotus Petal or Ancient Tomb, I would just jam a Show and Tell because I can play it through days. So they either have a force or they don't. So, and then you could even play the next one. So I don't mind drawing a 2nd copy of Show and Tell there. That seems fine to me. Another Mishra's Bauble. And they kept the card on top again. They swing, ouch. And they're just going to pass the turn. So the fact that they're not doing anything could be read as a Pyroblast. I'm going to play the Sinking Stupor as a land. And I think I'm going to do it untapped, so that way I can Cunning Wish on their end step, trying to bait something out if I can. End step, they Brainstorm. They kept the card on top last turn, so I imagine they're going to do it again here, and they do. Yeah, I just really wish that I had something to protect my own combo in the sideboard, like a Flusterstorm or just something. And now they Ponder. Surveils away, Ponder. So now their Channeler is Delirious. They attack for 3, I'll go to 13. They have 7 in hand still. No land. So Their hand has to be good because they've been keeping on all of these cantrips. So I have to imagine they have double Force of Will by now. Or double, like, Force of Negation or something. Come on, counter this Cunning Wish, please. They're thinking about it. I don't know if they'll pull the trigger. I need them to here. They know that I have Show and Tell and an Omniscience in hand. What they don't know is that I have 2 pair. Not that 2 pair helps me here. Unfortunately, the Cunning Wish resolves. So, what do I get? I don't know. I think the real answer is that Wilt cycles, so we're going to Cunning Wish for Wilt. Brainstorm, we'll play that. So I found an Ancient Tomb and a 3rd Omniscience that I definitely do not need. This feels bad. Play the Ancient Tomb. We'll try a Show and Tell. They Force of Will, exiling Delver of Secrets. Surveils away Thundering Falls. We will pass the turn. My top 2 cards in my deck are both Omniscience. They swing for 3, I'll go to 8. And now they have Pyroblast available. I'm going to just pass the turn. So if I wait, theoretically, I could draw into protection by cycling the Wilt. Because I'm going to draw the 3rd Omniscience on top, and then I'll see a fresh card for my turn. So we'll cycle Wilt, and now I get a chance at drawing something useful. Misty Rainforest, I don't think that's it. We'll try a Show and Tell. And they do have Pyroblast. Okay, so if I'm being just completely frank with you here, I think that the sideboard cost us this game because the fact that we just don't have anything to protect our combo. The list that I was seeing earlier this morning didn't play anything in that spot, but it feels like a miss to me. Maybe it's just the matchups we've had this league, and they're not exactly typical, but I think I would like something there moving forward. Whether it's Flusterstorm or the 4th Veil of Summer or just something. But I think you probably need something there. But we're going to try to keep our head up and win matches 4 and 5. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. The 4th round, and we've got our first die roll win. I will take it. Yes. All right, so we have Force of Will, we have Stock Up, we have Veil of Summer, 3 mana. This hand is great. Let's try it out. I'll lead on Misty Rainforest and Lotus Petal, pass the turn. No clue what our opponent is playing, but I like the ability to Veil of Summer through a Daze on turn 1 if I have to. They play a Misty Rainforest, okay. We will search out our copy of Hedge Maze, so that way I can surveil. Don't need a Cunning Wish right now. Another Veil of Summer. I think we're just going to jam a turn 2 Stock Up. Let's party. It resolves. We'll take Omniscience and Ponder. So you might be saying, why not take the Emrakul? Well, we already have 1 card to put into play off of the Show and Tell, and I'm hoping that by the time we would like to do that, that we've found something like a Troxa or Cunning Wish or another Emrakul or something up the Beanstalk. Okay, so the 4th blue deck in a row. Not that I mind it with how our hand is set up. Scalding Tarn. Let's try Ponder. Digging for Show and Tell. I believe we have to send this back. We just need to find Show and Tell. Another Lotus Petal. Okay. Tropical Island. They have 7 in hand. Another Ponder. So I do not plan on playing out this Lotus Petal unless I have to, just because our deck has Brainstorm in it. And here is a Brainstorm. I think I'm going to take the Brainstorm. And then the question is, do we want to draw through this Ponder and take another copy of Force of Will? Or would I like to fetch and then assume that I will draw a Shuffle effect? Dress Down. Okay. They play Flooded Strand and Null Drifter. Okay. A little bit problematic for me here. Before I make a decision on Null Drifter, I think I would like to cast a few spells. Let's brainstorm and see what the top of the deck looks like. No Show and Tell. Oh no, we're in trouble. We'll put back the 2 mana sources, I guess. And I will Force of Will the Null Drifter, exile Atraxa. They Force of Will back. I will Veil of Summer. So their Force of Will fizzle. They draw a card off the Beanstalk. The Null Drifter will be countered, and then they'll draw 2 cards off the Null Drifter. So this worked out quite nicely for them. They search Volcanic Island, and now they'll draw 2. They have 8 cards in their hand. And I'm about to redraw Lotus Petal. We'll play the basic island, pass. Excuse me, Mystic Sanctuary, that will get back Force of Will. Don't love seeing that. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, sure. And another copy of Up the Beanstalk. So you might be saying, Bryant, why not Spell Pierce this? And I think that's a fair question. But I believe one of the few ways I can win this game is if I just rip a Show and Tell right here and I have double backup. So that is what I'm going to play towards. And I didn't hit it. But I think that would have given me better odds than trying to play a value game against a control deck, because we are not a value deck. So that is just a losing battle in my opinion. They play a Tundra. I think I'm going to try to sink into Stupor this. So the Uro went back to their hand. I'm just trying to buy time. Plus, replaying the Uro or even another Up the Beanstalk here gives me another opportunity to rip a Show and Tell. We've seen 33% of my deck and I have not found it yet. So I've also played a lot of cantrips. Another Emrakul. Brutal. Brutal! Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath is back. 3 mana here. And another Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Okay. They have 8 cards in their hand. And now a main phase Brainstorm. I already know that if the opponent has a single Force of Will, I have to imagine they've seen roughly 50% of their deck at this point, that they have more than one Force of Will. We find a Stock Up. The problem is that Stock Up is still too late. We'll play it. Force of Will, and I don't know. I guess Lórien Revealed? Pass the turn. I will say that I think the Cunning Wish package feels like the worst thing about this deck. And I'm not trying to just be a hater. It's just that I get that Cunning Wish gets you shared summons. What I'm asking is, do you think that's worth it? Like, you could just play 3 better cards in your main deck, like 3 Preordain. And I mean, I have a pretty low opinion of Preordain. Most people know that. But at least Preordain is a consistency card that digs for Show and Tell. It's just, is Cunning Wish worthwhile? Like, always having the ability to slam your Emrakul. But you're already a 4 stock-up deck that plays a bunch of cantrips. Like, the odds that you can't find Emrakul or something else seems kind of low to me. Especially if you were playing Lórien Revealed and all these other things. Uro is back. And they're floating in extra green. Still no Show and Tell. Okay. I'm going to try to hardcast a Lórien Revealed. They let it go, and I finally find a Show and Tell. I will go to cleanup and will discard an Emrakul. And then Emrakul will trigger and shuffle in my graveyard. We're going to take 6 off the Emrakul. Ouch. They've seen over 50% of their deck. And they still have 3 up the Beanstalk. Like, they could just draw the rest of it. Brainstorm. Okay. And what we haven't seen yet is a Leyline Binding, because they're probably holding them in their hand. So Leyline Binding is another thing we need to consider. Another Lotus Petal. Let's play Stock Up. I guess the one upside is that Cunning Wish allows you to beat Leyline Binding. So that's probably a reason to play it. It just feels bad. So if I take the island, I can theoretically wait a turn instead of taking an Ancient Tomb that doesn't do anything. Play out the Lotus Petal. And I think I'm going to just go to 2 and pass. If they have a way to kill me from like 2 extra damage, like props to them. They failed the find with the Misty Rainforest. That's kind of funny. They Brainstorm. What are the odds they're just sitting on like 4 copies of Force of Will in their hand? The attack with Uro will put me to 2 life. Maybe I'll get them to accidentally deck themselves. Maybe that's my way to win here. Is that they play so many cards off the Beanstalk that they draw their entire deck. Yeah, sure, you have an Null Drifter. So this will get them down to 15 cards in deck. What are you doing? Consign to Memory. Sure. I'll admit, I was not expecting main deck Consign to Memory. They did show me that they're a Null Drifter deck, so maybe I should have. And they discarded Swords to Plowshare, Supreme Verdict, Leyline Binding, and I did not draw the Cunning Wish. Play the Scalding Tarn. Let's try a Show and Tell. They're going to Force of Will. They'll draw 3 cards. I'd like to respond. Let's try Veil of Summer. They Force of Will again. I'll go to 1, and I'll Force of Will their Force of Will before they can draw. They have 3 cards left. Force of Negation. So we've lost. So the Force of Will works on my Veil of Summer, and now they'll draw 3 more. And now this Force of Will will counter my Show and Tell, and we lose. Okay, well that did not go according to plan. I still think that I want to do the same basic sideboard juke that we've been doing the whole time. We'll cut the Lotus Petals. We'll bring in cards that are just on average a little bit better. The problem in this matchup is that they do have Leyline Binding and Prismatic Ending. So they have answers to Carpet of Flowers and Uro that are just more natural, meaning that they're not incredible cards. Like, they're fine. They're probably better than Lotus Petal, but they're not lights out. Okay, so we'll keep. Something I could have sided in. And if we find in this game that Uro and Carpet of Flowers aren't good, you could board in Consign to Memory just for Leyline Binding, but that feels kind of bad to me. Flooded Strand, Carpet of Flowers. I'm going to hang on to that. They fetch. This feels like a good time for me to play that Brainstorm. There we go. Get rid of the Sink in a Stupor and a land. They search out their own copy of Hedge Maze, Tundra, and up the Beanstalk. Sure. I will fetch. And I think I just want to grab the Tropical Island. I don't think they're going to have some way to punish me for non-basics here. Let's play Carpet of Flowers. It resolves. So we both have green enchantments. What a wonderful life. Yes, I'll make mana. And let's play Stock Up. Our Stock Up finds another Stock Up and a Show and Tell. Big fan. Pass the turn. They play land number 3. And they're fetching. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Sure. I was a little worried about Teferi Time Raveler there, but Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath does not make me afraid. They did not put a land into play. Interesting. So because of the fact that they played a 3rd island, I can play Stock Up here for free off of the Carpet of Flowers and dig for another protection spell. So we will do that. We'll take Spell Pierce and Ponder. We'll play the island. Let's try Show and Tell. They Force of Will. I will grab an island. And I think I'd like to Spell Pierce. So now they'll draw off of up the Beanstalk. Show and Tell back on the stack. They Force of Will. I will Force of Will back, exiling the Ponder. Now they'll draw off up the Beanstalk. Show and Tell back on the stack. They had a 3rd free counterspell. Yeah, that hurts. Pass the turn. Null Drifter. So they'll draw 3 cards off of this. Back up to 6 cards in hand. They play Savannah. We find another Ponder. I'll make 3 blue. Let's play the Ponder. We find another Show and Tell. So this is another spot where Cunning Wish not having a counterspell to go grab is really awkward. I'll play the Show and Tell, Omniscience, and Leyline Binding. So I can bounce the Leyline Binding, and then Cunning Wish will bounce Leyline Binding, and they can't recast it. So the Leyline Binding will essentially do nothing now. And then the Cunning Wish, assuming that it resolves, will win the game. Yes. Grab Shared Summons. So I think that maybe you need the Cunning Wish, but you need a counterspell or something else in the board. Like right now, the sideboard doesn't feel flexible enough. Like I copied everybody else with these Consign to Memories. Maybe you're not supposed to play these. Maybe that's actually the answer. And I don't think I want to dedicate a card in my main deck for Leyline Binding. I'm just going to try to make do. This is fine. Turn 1 Tundra into Ponder. Cunning Wish. So that's my way of beating Leyline Binding. Grab Tropical Island. Let's play, Ponder. Force of Will. I think I like this, but my fear is that we're still a ways away from finding Show and Tell. I actually stacked that Ponder wrong. They have their own Carpet of Flowers. I think I'm going to upkeep Shuffle with the Lórien Revealed. And up the Beanstalk. They have a very strong draw here. Upkeep, I will Shuffle. Grab the Hedge Maze. Take a draw. Okay. We'll play the Hedge Maze. So next turn I will have Show and Tell with backup. I don't think we want the Carpet of Flowers. I need a blue card. That's my best draw right now. Because I would have Spell Pierce, Force of Will backup with Cunning Wish to stop Leyline Binding, Omniscience, Emrakul. Another Up the Beanstalk, and a Ponder. I need a blue card. The deck is full of them. Let's just draw one. Pretty easy ask, right? Right? We'll just do it. Alternatively, I would accept a Veil of Summer, because then Spell Pierce could become my blue card. They shuffle on the Ponder, Volcanic Island, so they can pay for a Spell Pierce now. It is a blue card. Let's try Show and Tell. Whoops. I keep on tapping for green. What's wrong with me? Alright, Show and Tell. And it just resolves. Okay, Omniscience. Leyline Binding. We will Cunning Wish in response. Yes. We will grab Sublime Epiphany. And now we will cast this. And we'll choose counter, draw, bounce a non-land permanent. So we'll counter the Leyline Binding, bounce a Up the Beanstalk, and I will draw a card. Wow, that all resolved. Okay. Do they just have nothing? Play Emrakul. Trigger on the stack for the extra turn. They're going to consign to memory. Is it crazy here to fight over these triggers? Because they've shown me they don't have anything else. Wait, I don't have to tap mana. We'll just play Force of Will with Omniscience. Play Spell Pierce. And now Emrakul. Our opponent says GG's. I'm going to wait. Okay, GG's opponent. Wow, that was a nail-biter. I feel like I got away with the fact that our opponent did not draw that well in Game 3. They did draw very well in Game 1, so law of averages and all that good stuff. But now we're 3-1. One match left to go. Will we get a non-blue matchup? Let's find out. The best Legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. The final round, we are on the draw again. I've opened up a hand that has protection for Show and Tell. All we need to find is something to put onto the battlefield. A Seat of the Synod. So, 8 cast, Mishra's Bauble, and they're going to use the Mishra's Bauble. So, a 5th blue deck. We draw Brainstorm. I'll play Scalding Tarn and pass. Ancient Tomb. Looking more and more like 8 cast. Okay, it's Blue Painter. Sure. Yeah, you got it. They chose blue and a Lava Spur Boots. On the end step, I'm going to fetch, grab a Hedge Maze, keep the stock up. We'll play our own Ancient Tomb, and let's jam the stock up. It just immediately resolves. I did not find a Omniscience or anything to put into play. So we'll take the 2 blue spells, go to cleanup, discard the basic forest. If they have land Grindstone, we lose. But I'm not going to play around that. So there's their land. They have 4 cards. Thoughtcast. So we will get another turn. They equip the Lava Spur Boots. And we'll take 2 down to 15. Another stock up. Let's play it. We find Omniscience, which is exactly what we wanted here. And I guess the other card I'd like is Ponder. Go to cleanup. And I'll get rid of Brainstorm. The Urza Saga goes to the 2nd chapter. They play another Seat of the Synod. They attack for 2, I'll go to 11. Alright, so it's time for us to try to win. I will play Sink in a Stupor as a land, I'll pay 3 life. Show and Tell. The Force of Will, exiling an island. That's pretty good. I will Veil of Summer. And they have another Force of Will. My Spell Pierce is not good enough. Okay, we lose game number 1. I don't think we want to sideboard at all. I'm just going to resubmit the same configuration. The problem was we took too long to find what we needed. Like, that was really it. So we'll just try to do better. I don't regret keeping my hand. It's just that we didn't find the pieces. Game number 2 on the play. So with this hand, we just need to find a Show and Tell. How tough could that be, right? Right? Hedge Maze. We'll keep Ponder. Pass the turn. Turn 1 Seat of the Synod again. We will play the Ponder. I think I like all of these. Play out Island, pass. The Lotus Petal. Urza's Saga. If they play a Painter Servant, I think I would fight over it. Just because I don't know if I'm going to be able to close out this game before a Grindstone activation. But I guess my deck does have 2 copies of Emrakul in it. Emery, Lurker of the Lock. Yep, you can have that. They milled over a Force of Will. We like to see that. So I'll draw Ponder, we'll play it. And there's a Show and Tell. So I could jam Show and Tell right now. The problem is that I only have 1 backup. But next turn they're going to have even more mana, so I don't know if holding for Spell Pierce is even a good idea. So we'll just jam the Show and Tell. The Force of Negation, exiling Thoughtcast. I will Force of Will, exiling Sink into Stupor. Show and Tell back on the stack. We'll put in Emrakul the Aeons Torn. They put in the One Ring. Okay. They draw a card. So now the One Ring will happen. Urza Saga goes up to the 2nd chapter. They draw 2 cards. Already back up to 6 cards in hand. They play Ancient Tomb, Mox Opal, Thoughtcast. They Emery to return Lotus Petal. They have so many permanents. Like, the Annihilator 6 is going to be an inconvenience for them, but not the end of the world. They make a Construct token. We will attack with the Emrakul. Hiya, trigger. Annihilator 6. Interesting that they're getting rid of the Urza Saga. So they'll go to 2 now. Let's Brainstorm. 3 lands. Okay, we'll just put 2 of them back. Play out the Misty Rainforest. Pass the turn. Alright, so they still have 4 cards here. They're going to attack for 6. That's not lethal. And they concede. Alright, game 3. Submit. Do we finish this a hero with a 4-1 or a loser with a 3-2? That's the question. I don't know if I love this. I think we're going to mulligan. It's just too clunky. Much better. Keep, we'll get rid of Scalding Tarn. Turn 1 Seat of the Synod. Classic. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Storm is 2. Storm is 3. Storm is 4. Storm is 5. They use Mishra's Bauble. That is not a storm. So they draw off the Bauble. They're back up to 4 cards. We find a Cunning Wish. I'm just going to play Ponder here. None of this is what we want. I will shuffle. Pass the turn. Double Veil of Summer is a little bit weird because I'm just not in a spot where it's going to be good. Versus Saga. This looks like a One Ring. Yep. Wish I could have fought over that. If I had a Force of Will, I would have played it there. Another Mishra's Bauble. Because they're going to start burying me on card advantage before I'm ready to win. Okay. And there's Show and Tell. Let's Brainstorm. Alright, so we found Ancient Tomb. The thing is, I need to find Omniscience now. We'll get rid of Tropical Island. Keep the Lórien Revealed. I think I'm supposed to get rid of a Veil of Summer. Okay, so they can draw 2 more cards this turn off the One Ring. I have an interesting decision here. Do I fetch for the Surveil land and hope that the Surveil land hits, or do I Brainstorm on the end step? The issue with brainstorming on the end step is if I miss, I don't have any way of clearing those cards. And if I Surveil land, then next turn I can't Brainstorm and protect Show and Tell. I don't know what the right answer is. I think I'm going to get the Hedge Maze just because I did leave in Lotus Petal. And we hit. Wow. Very lucky. Alright, so we're going to try to win here. Show and Tell. Come on, don't have anything. We'll play Veil of Summer. Come on, just let my Veil of Summer resolve. They activate a Construct. Okay. It's Metallic Rebuke. Yep. Brutal. Alright, so we're down to Show and Tell. Not loving my odds of winning anymore, because now they're going to untap, they'll draw a card for turn, and then draw 3 more cards off the One Ring. So we missed our window. Okay. They search out an Aether Spellbomb. I don't know if I care about Aether Spellbomb. They can untap the One Ring, and now they can draw 4 cards. There's no chance we win this now. No chance. They attack for 6. We draw Force of Will. So if I had played Brainstorm on the end step instead of that Hedge Maze, I mean, it's hindsight bias, but if I had played the Brainstorm, I would have found Omniscience and Force of Will. And then I could have Force of Willed exiling Lórien Revealed into a win. That's insane. So I guess the best thing that could happen now is if the Brainstorm hit Show and Tell, and then I could Show and Tell with Force backup. And I did not hit. Okay, so unfortunately, we finished this league as a 3-2 sad boy. Deck was really good. I like the deck a lot. I do think that the sideboard needs a little bit of work. It's not the fact that I played Leyline of the Void today. It's that I think the Consigned to Memories probably don't belong. You need something in the sideboard for the Cunning Wish. And then I'm not sure if I would make any changes to the main deck, if I'm being honest. I actually liked the Lotus Petals. I know that some people play like one one Preordain over like one Lotus Petal and stuff like that. I don't know if those are meaningful changes. I do feel like we did struggle some games to find our spells, but I don't know if it's cutting mana that is the right move forward. I really don't have the answer to that. I do think that Cunning Wish is incredibly clunky, and that is an area for improvement. But without it, I don't know how you beat Leyline Binding outside of Sink into Stupor. So if you wanted to try no Cunning Wish, you'd probably have to play a third Sink into Stupor, which isn't the worst thing in the world anyway. So that's something you could at least try out in order to move stuff around. Is that good? I don't know. It's just an option that you have. But I do really like this deck. I think it's a great choice moving forward in the Legacy metagame. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. There's no better way to support our channel. If you're interested in elevating your combo game, visit theepicstorm.com/tutoring for details about our coaching sessions. Don't worry, there's more great combo content coming right up.